This week on ANN, Adventist leaders agree on steps to prevent and treat sexual abuse.
An Adventist church on the island of St. Croix burns down.
And May 12th was Nurses Appreciation Day. We're featuring some of the important work nurses are doing during the COVID-19 pandemic.
These stories and more coming up. Thank you so much for joining us this week.
First, in the news, leaders of the Seventh-day Adventist Church recently provided evidence that the church regions are taking concrete steps to make sure church organizations and institutions will work unapologetically to prevent sexual abuse. At the same time, regional leaders pledge to continue crafting detailed protocols to prevent or respond to any complaint of sexual abuse in the church.
The move came at the end of a Zoom-mediated discussion and vote during the second day of the Adventist Church's spring meeting, one of the two annual business meetings of the World Church. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this year's session with dozens of leaders from around the world was held entirely online.
Associate Secretary for the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Gary Krause, introduced the agenda item saying, "Sadly, our church is not immune to the incidents of sexual abuse." Krause explained that the inclusion of this agenda item came after reports from church divisions and discussions that took place at a meeting of the General Conference and Division Officers. This body includes top administrators from the World Church and the 13 church regions.
Adventist Church President Ted N.C. Wilson agreed, noting that regional leaders have worked with local unions and regions, helping members to become sensitized to sexual abuse prevention for both children and adults.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church has a decades-old history of advocating against sexual abuse in the church. As far back as 1987, church leaders voted a statement on sexual behavior, and in 1990, they added a statement on pornography.
Despite what has been done, leaders acknowledge that more work needs to be done and believe that current developments will help to add concrete, concerted measures and protocols to tackle the specific issue of sexual abuse in the church.
Wilson noted that administrators everywhere should know that they can't keep employing or working with employees who abuse or victimize individuals.
Wilson concluded that this discussion marked the beginning of a process and that the topic would be included in future agendas. Committee members then voted whether to accept the progress report on the issue. The vote passed by a vote of 95-1.
For more information and to read the full article, visit news.adventist.org.
The Seventh-day Adventist community on the island of St. Croix stood in solidarity with the leaders and members of the Peters Rest Adventist Church as they watched their state-of-the-art church building consumed by fire on May 5. The building, located at the strategic location in the Peters Rest neighborhood, was considered a landmark by many on the island. Footage from inside the gutted building revealed that the fire destroyed the entire upper level of the church, including pews, platform furniture, and communication equipment recently acquired to offer virtual ministry. Sections of the massive roof collapsed, taking with it the solar technology the church had recently installed. Pastor of the Peters Rest Adventist Church, Earl Daniels, said, "I was really broken when I saw the church, but our God is still in control and he is on our side." Daniels said that no lives were lost in the fire and authorities are currently investigating the cause. The building was built in 1985 and housed the main sanctuary, a media room, a mother's room, a fellowship hall used for children's Sabbath school classes, a kitchen, and an office. North Caribbean Conference President Desmond James was shaken to see the structure engulfed in flames when he arrived on the scene. He said, referring to the catastrophic events the region has suffered over the past 3 years, "It's one after the other. God is a God of hope, and we should look forward to bigger and better things." He said that church leaders from around the Caribbean Union territory had called to express their regrets and that they keep the congregation in prayer. The Peters Rest Adventist Church currently has over 400 members. Peters Rest is one of 6 congregations on the island.
This year, Nurses Appreciation Day fell on May 12th. With the COVID-19 pandemic infecting millions and forcing the world to stay inside and adjust to a so-called new normal, there's no better time to recognize our nurses. The novel coronavirus, known as COVID-19, has spread globally since the end of 2019. On January 30, the World Health Organization, or WHO, declared the coronavirus a global health emergency, and on March 11, the WHO declared COVID-19 a pandemic. At the time of this recording, the virus has infected more than 4.3 million people. There have been more than 293,000 associated deaths and 1.6 million recoveries. Those numbers continue to rise rapidly. This week, Advent Health, based in the U.S. state of Florida, sent us this report about their special nursing team serving on the COVID-19 unit of the Orlando-based hospital. Advent Health shared this report.
You often hear about hospital staff who are on the front lines of the fight against COVID-19. Well, we want you to meet a nurse who is part of a special team at Advent Health Orlando, and they are truly on the leading edge.
The virus is scary.
Especially if you work inside a COVID-19 unit like Advent Health Orlando RN Felicia Haynes.
It is hard to see a lot of the patients so sick, so that's a really difficult hurdle to kind of get over in general.
Nurse Haynes is as much on the front line as anyone, perhaps even more. She is a member of the hospital's first proning team. Their job, manually rolling very sick COVID-19 patients to a prone position on their stomachs.
So they're able to breathe better. Yes, their oxygenation is a lot better. They're able to receive oxygen. They're able to use it better just by laying on their stomach.
The team does this 12 to 15 times per shift. Close-up contact with COVID-19 patients repeatedly, and they volunteered for the duty.
Their concerns are there, always going to be there, but they put that aside because they're thinking more of what can I do to improve the lives of those patients and make them make it through this difficult time.
Haynes says not a second thought about signing up for this because it's just what clinical staff does.
You see their numbers going up and it's so exciting, like it's working. And then you see them smiling and you're like, they made it. They made it over that initial hump. To see them get better is just phenomenal.
No one gets any closer to COVID-19 patients than those teams. But Nurse Haynes says she never hesitated when the call went out for volunteers because saving lives is the job and extending the healing ministry of Christ is the mission. In Orlando, I'm Tom Johnson from Advent Health for Adventist News Network.
We here at ANN would like to stand along with Advent Health and the rest of our hospital systems around the world to thank the nurses and doctors and all hospital and frontline workers for their work during the COVID-19 pandemic. We thank you, we appreciate you, and we are praying for you.
In South America, Seventh-day Adventists are doing all they can to help those impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Kitchens are full of food, warmed and packaged for distribution. Protective masks receive the finishing touches before being donated. At the supermarket, carts are filled with donations, which will then be made into food baskets. Psychologists are on call to assist those suffering from anxiety free of charge. These are just some of the outreach projects in which they are involved. The South American Division sent this report.
Na cozinha, a comida está pronta, quentinha e embalada para ser distribuída. No salão, as máscaras protetoras recebem os últimos retoques antes de serem doadas. Na porta do supermercado, um carrinho vai enchendo com as doações que serão transformadas em cestas básicas. Na internet, psicólogos estão de plantão para atender gratuitamente a quem está sofrendo por ansiedade. Ações assim estão ocorrendo em toda a América do Sul. São os adventistas se prontificando a ajudar a quem precisa nesse momento tão difícil de pandemia.
Muitas e muitas pessoas na nossa comunidade perderam emprego, não conseguem mais vender os produtos que antigamente vendiam. Então, o nosso leque de pessoas que precisam ser ajudadas aumentou de uma forma exponencial.
A igreja, ela percebeu essa necessidade e ela entrou em ação imediatamente. Isso mostra que realmente há um cristianismo real. Há um Jesus que habita no coração dessas pessoas, enquanto muitos estavam buscando aí comprar para si, para armazenar, e houve algumas confusões em mercados aí, muitos pensaram o contrário, vamos repartir, vamos contribuir para que todo mundo tenha.
As iniciativas foram surgindo por parte de famílias, pequenos grupos, etc., e depois unificadas pela Igreja Adventista na grande campanha sul-americana do Mutirão de Páscoa, que a partir do mês de maio passa a se chamar Compartilhe Esperança. O objetivo dessa junção é incentivar mais e mais pessoas a se mobilizarem para ajudar o próximo, principalmente enquanto perdurarem os efeitos socioeconômicos da pandemia. Desde o início desse movimento, há pouco mais de um mês, mais de 2.000 toneladas de alimentos já foram arrecadadas e distribuídas, sem contar as demais ações realizadas. A Agência Humanitária Adventista, a ADRA, também está atuando no suporte a pessoas em situação de vulnerabilidade. Desde o início da pandemia até o momento, mais de 150 mil pessoas já foram beneficiadas por seus projetos.
É um sentimento de muita emoção por ver a igreja sendo mobilizada para atender as pessoas. Esse é o método de Cristo.
A reação das pessoas quando elas recebem as cestas básicas, o alimento em si, é um misto de alegria, né, de estar podendo prover alimento em casa, mas também um olhar de esperança, sabe, que ainda não acabou, que ainda a gente vai superar isso. E é muito bom a gente, quando leva isso, a gente não está levando somente cesta básica, a gente está levando esperança para as pessoas.
There are more than 120,000 refugees who have fled war and famine in the Democratic Republic of Congo and are resettled in Kiaka, 2 refugee settlements in Uganda.
Recently, the Adventist Development and Relief Agency has had to adjust their food assistance operations to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 throughout the settlement.
ADRA Uganda sent this report.
I feel it is a scaring disease and it is a killer disease. I feel so scared. God should help us. Corona should not reach in Chakatu.
I have that fear. These days I cannot even hang out with my friend. I cannot even visit friends. So
it has made me so scared because someone is not allowed to go out. Someone is not allowed to meet friends. Someone is not allowed to hug even a relative. You're not supposed to shake hands. So it has made me so scared.
We are all trying measures to ensure that the humanitarian work does not end, but we are also protecting both the beneficiaries and the staff that are participating in the distribution. We are committed to ensure that we continue to support those that are in need. We have made these people our first priority, and we want to continue to support them, and we pray that God protects each and every person.
Coming up, Adventist young people in Japan look to Daniel for online outreach.
But up next, a new video series from Germany aims to make Bible study exciting.
We may look, pray, read, think, worship, sing, and share differently, but we all look forward to the Sabbath. And we all look forward to the future when Jesus will come again. With this message in mind, we arrived at a core component for a new identity system, the creation grid, a simple 7-column structure for layout. The grid is a reference both to the prophetic timeline as well as to the creation week that culminated in the 7th-day Sabbath. The first 6 columns of the grid belong to the designer. It can be filled with anything: text, images, illustrations, patterns, and logos. But the 7th column, the Sabbath column, does not belong to them. It is meant to be different and special. Regardless of what or where you are designing, you can always find information to help you communicate that we are all Seventh-day Adventists.
Welcome back.
More than ever, during COVID-19, the internet has become a daily companion. You can find just about everything you need online.
Among the most searched topics is religion, and it is important that the supply of information adequately meets the demand. Adventist theologian Chris Vogel is working on meeting that need.
On his YouTube channel, Masterpiece Bible, Vogel shares short videos featuring helpful tips and ideas on how to study the Bible, as well as personal discoveries from his own study of the text.
Vogel says, "My goal is to get people excited about the Bible by showing them what a brilliant masterpiece this book really is. I want to teach them how to study the Bible more deeply and make fascinating discoveries along the way. It's truly amazing what you can find in these ancient texts if you know how to go about it and what to look for. The good news is that anyone can do it."
In addition to the YouTube channel, a detailed reading guide as well as other helpful resources for Bible study is available at masterpiece.bible. In addition, the videos are also available in German on the YouTube channel Masterpiece Bible. That's Bible.
COVID-19 has affected the number of volunteers, hours of operation, food distribution hours, and other programs at most Adventist Community Services locations in North America. This is the reality at the Northeastern Conference ACS Center. As a result of schools closing in New York City, the Queens Center for Progress was closed, reducing the number of volunteers who were instrumental in carrying out the daily activities at the center. Fortunately, other volunteers from the community stepped in to assist with service, which could be modified to continue within social distancing requirements. The food distribution style was changed from client's choice to pre-packaged grab-and-go grocery bags. The hours of operation have changed from 4 days per week to 2 days. They've extended the food distribution hours to accommodate the reduction in the number of people allowed to be served at a time. On April 29, 2020, the center served 375 families. In March this year, the center distributed more than 1,300 bags of groceries and served more than 2,800 people. In April, the center distributed more than 2,000 bags of groceries and served more than 4,800 people. Safety measures have been put in place at the center, with all volunteers given gloves, hand sanitizer, and N95 masks. Volunteers are thoroughly informed of the health guidelines from the Food Bank for New York City and are actively practicing social distancing and hand washing. Each client is asked to use hand sanitizer, which is placed throughout the facility.
A group of young people in Japan who had planned to participate in March's Youth Rush program but were unable to do so due to the coronavirus outbreak came up with a new idea called Daniel Rush. Youth Rush is a student literature evangelism program of the Japan Union Conference.
Not wanting to waste time, 3 college students and a Youth Rush program leader prayed about, discussed, and planned the Daniel Rush program in less than a week.
In the biblical book of Daniel, 4 young Hebrews were taken captive to Babylon. Instead of eating the exotic and impure foods of Babylon, Daniel and his friends asked to be given water to drink and vegetables to eat for 10 days. The Daniel Rush program encourages all participants to take God seriously and try to introduce healthy lifestyle habits for 10 days.
During the program, all communications and activities were carried out in an online group of Line, an instant communication application for mobile devices. Through word of mouth and personal invitations, 125 people joined the online program.
Every day, program leaders post health surveys and questionnaires to the group. Participants are also encouraged to learn more about the Bible and health through an online program.
When the 10-day program ended, the leader said that they are planning to repeat the experience for those who wish to do so. They are also planning to prepare a brochure with participant testimonies.
Coming up, David Trim is here with a look at this week in Adventist history.
But up next, Adventist Mission shares the story of a ministry for young people in Oslo, Norway.
You have found what makes you happy, and then everything else will come into play.
It's important to all brain is infinity and beyond. There's no reason to never stop. There's always a reason to start.
Family. Family.
Boom.
I've never seen anyone that's so excited to see just me for no reason than just to see me. And I'm trying to be a better person for her. It's a work in progress. It's nice to see someone that sees you from those little innocent eyes, who sees me as the guy that she loves and comes and gives hugs to. And
whether it's for my 3 children or my friends or my family, if this does not exist, then it's meaningless.
I want to remember this moment now, when 20 years from now she's an adult. Hopefully she's come to be a good adult.
Welcome back.
Oslo is one of Europe's most expensive cities, although it ranks high on quality of life. It's the center of the Norwegian economy and government.
The Bethel Church still operates at a prime location in the heart of the city, and youth are a high priority.
Adventist Mission has more.
In the 1880s, Ellen White visited Oslo, Norway, and preached at the Bethel Seventh-day Adventist Church. Today, Oslo is one of Europe's most expensive cities, although it ranks high on quality of life. It's the center of the Norwegian economy and government. The Bethel Church still operates at a prime location in the heart of the city. On Sabbath, you'll find a melting pot of cultures forming Sabbath school classes and then coming together for the main service. In this church, youth are a high priority. In 2017, a portion of Your 13 Sabbath offering started a renovation project for a space specifically for youth outreach. The youth group in Oslo is very active and inclusive. Today, Alex and Marielle are asking church members to spread the word about upcoming events to any young person they know. There are universities scattered throughout Oslo, with many students hoping to make new friends. This group happily welcomes newcomers into the close-knit community. Events are scheduled throughout the week for the youth to connect with each other outside of church, too.
I love the cabin trips that we have. Going skiing and hanging out together, because then you get to have like a lot of deep conversations together too with friends that you normally don't get the possibility to in normal settings.
I'm a very social being. I need people and just a bunch of great guys and girls. Good people to hang around with.
On this Sabbath, they've planned a picnic in the park after church where they can socialize and get to know each other.
For me, I don't always think about it as much as it being, the youth group, more as it's my friends. We want to go hang out, and then we can just make an arrangement and get together.
Each Sabbath afternoon, the youth group from the Bethel Church joins young Adventists and their friends from all over Oslo for conversation, testimonies, and music. This gives them another opportunity to recharge spiritually and socially. Although this larger community benefits from spending time together, there are many in Oslo who don't know Jesus. The challenges of working in such a large urban area can be discouraging.
Norway is a very secular country, so of course it makes it more difficult for mission work telling people about the gospel, because everyone has sort of heard about it and they have in a way made their own opinion about it, so it makes it very difficult to show them how good it really is.
The young people in Oslo ask Adventists around the world to join them in prayer.
We need prayer for trying to have the best kind of environment for people to get more involved with God and each other. So pray for some spiritual guidance, help us to be more or better at meeting people and show others that we are Christians.
Please pray for this group in Norway. And thank you for your support of the 13th Sabbath offering that is helping this group reach more young people.
Watch this and other mission stories online by visiting adventistmission.org, then click on videos at the top.
And finally, for today's episode, let's turn to David Trim for a look at Adventist history.
During this week, 113 years ago, May 10 through 20, 1902, the Brazil Conference was organized in Gaspar Alto in the Brazilian state of Santa Catarina. H.F. Graf, a German-American missionary from Minnesota, was elected the first president. The conference comprised 19 Adventist congregations with a total of 742 members. There are now 8 separate unions in Brazil, and as of December 31st, 2014, they comprised 16,440 congregations and 1,519,038 church members. Truly mighty oaks have grown from that original acorn. On May 11, 1887, a party of pioneer missionaries left New York City. 2 ministers, Doris A. Robinson and Charles L. Boyd, and their wives, Edna Robinson and Maud Sisley Boyd, sailed for Cape Town, accompanied by a Bible instructor, Miss Carrie Mace, and 2 colporteurs, George Burley and R.S. Anthony. These were the first Adventist missionaries to be sent to South Africa, where they arrived in July. The same date, the 11th of May, but 45 years later in 1922, was the first day of the 40th General Conference session held in San Francisco. Arthur G. Daniels had been General Conference President for 21 years, a record, but was not re-elected at this session. The Secretary, William A. Spicer, was elected in his place. Daniels was bitterly disappointed, but he went on to play a leading role in creating the Ministerial Association, while Spicer provided strong, mission-focused leadership as president for 8 years. That was this week in Adventist history.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
We'd love to hear from you. Send us your feedback and tell us how your church is making a difference in its community.
Be sure to capture plenty of video footage and photos, then write up a summary of the event's important details, and feel free to send full video reports as well.
You can reach us by sending an email to annvideo11@gmail.com.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verses 1 and 2.
The passage says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sins that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith."
That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.